Welcome back to The Collective Appreciation. I'm your host, Gunnar Anderson. I am a screenwriter, actor, producer, and published author living and working in Los Angeles, California. I am also a certified personal trainer, and most importantly, I'm an action figure collector, a big nerd, and I wear that badge proudly. Now, those three things, the movie business, fitness and exercise, and action figure collecting, and general nerdism make up what I call my collective appreciation. And if you like any of those three things, or if you're crazy like me and you like all three, I would strongly consider subscribing. It's all we talk about here. Now, today, we're going to do something a little bit different. I am going to lay out a program for you, a workout program, designed to make you look like Batman. And then we're also going to talk about some delicious humble pie that I've been eating recently in regards to my action figure collection. It should be fun. If you go on YouTube, there is no shortage of train like Batman videos. We are not going to reinvent the wheel with this video, but we are going to try and simplify it a little bit. Let's get the obvious out of the way, right? This is a plan to look like Batman, not to perform like Batman. If you want to perform like Batman, I pulled these up. You would need to travel the world, master multiple martial arts and fighting styles, acquire multiple degrees and a PhD, become a master of criminal psychology, be an Olympic level athlete and gymnast, and be a billionaire. But we can definitely look like Batman. The next question, perhaps the most important question, is which Batman? Are we going to go for the Adam West body? That shouldn't be hard. Or are we going to go for the Jim Lee Hush style Batman? That's a little bit more complicated, isn't it? Or are we going to go Bruce Timm and skip leg day altogether? No, we are not. We're not doing that. I think any of the live action Batman actors, Robert Pattinson, Christian Bale, those two especially, pretty attainable physiques. I think the ones before them didn't necessarily work out for the part, like your Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney. They just kind of stepped into a muscle suit. Christian Bale was the first one to really transform his body. Robert Pattinson put on a lot of weight. Ben Affleck put on a lot of weight. You just didn't see Ben Affleck that much. There's that kind of strange workout montage, but other than that, you don't really see him. So we're going to look at those two for the most part, and the comic book art, obviously. The problem that I see and that I run into the most with these train like ex-actor videos, with you see Men's Health post a lot of these kind of train like Austin Butler workouts, and they're garbage. They are absolute garbage. And that's not to say someone like Austin Butler doesn't work out properly. That's not to say he has a bad trainer. That is just saying Men's Health wants these more Men's Health and outlets like that want these more viral clickbait kind of videos of people doing weird stuff in the gym, stuff that's going to get eyes on it, stuff that's going to make the non-experienced, the uninitiated, if you will, say, oh my gosh, if I do that weird kettlebell movement where I pull it up into a row, then into a press, then do a squat all in one motion, I'm going to look like Austin Butler or Batman in this case. And that's not the case. A lot of these outlets or a lot of these videos that they're posting are actually some type of dynamic warm-up, or perhaps cool down, something like that. They're not the actual meat and potatoes of the workout. So what does the actual workout look like? I'm going to take you through two variations. We're going to do a 5-day split, meaning you're going to train 5 days. And we're going to look at a 3-day split, meaning you're going to train 3 days. The 3-day split is for someone who has a little bit less time to get to the gym. Unfortunately, building a Batman level physique is not something I'm not even going to tease the idea of an in-home program. This is I'm going to pick myself up and I'm going to go to the gym program. This is not a body weight, I have a couple 10-pound dumbbells situation. This is I need a fully functional gym program. Well, let's go through the split. So the split is Monday, you're training chest. Tuesday, you're training back. Wednesday, you're training legs. Thursday, you're training shoulders and arms. And Friday, you're doing conditioning and explosive work. That is not reinventing the wheel. I'm telling you, No workout plan, no effective workout plan is trying to reinvent the wheel. It is the basics. It is the tried and true methods that work the best. So it's worth noting this plan would be best utilized if you did like microcycles or mesocycles. Basically, if we're going on week 1, we're going 4 sets of 6 to 8. Maybe on week 2, you either up the reps or lower the reps. Or you do 2 weeks at 6 to 8. But I think going in progressive overload, either you're staying at 6 to 8 and increasing the weight just a little bit, or you're moving to maybe 3 sets of 10 to 12, get a little bit more hypertrophy in there, or you're dropping back, maybe going 5 sets of 3 to 5, something where you're going a little bit heavier. So barbell bench press, 4 sets, 6 to 8, incline dumbbell press, 4 sets, 8 to 10, weighted dips. I said weighted dips, you can totally do just body weight dips or assisted dips if you need to. The dips are a little bit higher, leaning more into the hypertrophy. So you're going 3 sets, 8 to 12. Cable chest flies, more in the hypertrophy. You're looking at an isolation movement as opposed to a compound movement. So you're going 3 sets, 12 to 15. And then we'll do an ab finisher. Very, very simple. Hanging leg raises, one of my favorite exercises. If you can, do the bar to toe or toes to bar variation of a leg raise. Cable crunches, one of my favorite ab movements. And a plank. Very, very simple. 3 sets, 1 minute each. Take a little breath, do another minute, take a little breath, do another minute. That's day 1. Day 2, we're looking at back. So pull-ups, I would recommend weighted pull-ups. If you can do 10 pull-ups without any weight and it's good form, try doing 5 pull-ups with weight. 4 sets, 6 to 8 reps. I would even drop it down 5 to 8 if you're going to go weighted. Barbell bent over rows. 4 sets, 8 reps. Now you could do dumbbell rows, I think the barbell row you're going to get the most out of because you're engaging so much of the lower back. You're engaging really the entire posterior chain in a barbell row because you have to support yourself. So you're getting a little bit more bang for your buck. You're probably building a lot more strength too. But you could do like a variation of like a dumbbell row, something like that, where you have a little bit more support. Next is lat pull down. You're going on a wide grip. So coming down here. 3 sets. Again, since we're on a cable now, we're going to go a little bit higher into the hypertrophy range. So we're going to go 3 sets, 10 to 12. Seated cable rows, 3 sets of 10. And face pulls, one of my favorite rear delt trap exercises, 3 sets, 15. Now, if you don't feel like that's enough, it's definitely enough. If you want more of a challenge, if you're looking to build more strength, I would throw deadlifts into this. It really depends, though, because the next day is legs. You don't want to be super shot from your back day to go into your leg day. So if you can space it out a little bit, maybe have like a rest day in there somewhere, if you don't mind training on a Saturday, since we're on a 5-day split, remember. I would put the deadlifts after pull-ups before bent over rows and keep it low rep, 3 sets, 5 to 8 reps. Definitely going to build some more strength in there. But again, I would say it's optional. Unless you're trying to get really, really strong, this is just a sidebar on deadlifts. Unless you're trying to get really, really, really strong, they're not an absolute essential in any workout plan. I know they're like the essential for building strength, but in terms of like just building, like we're talking about looking the part of Batman. We're trying to build a very specific physique. I don't think deadlifts are an essential. That's why I listed them as optional. Anyway, moving on to legs. Again, if you can have Monday, Tuesday training, Wednesday rest day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday training, I think that would be a little bit better just so you're not bumping legs and back up against each other. You could also do legs on day 1, chest on day 2, back on day 3. That might work better for some people. Maybe should have thought of that before I started recording, but it's okay. So legs, squats. This is the essential, right? I don't think you can get away with not doing deadlifts. You cannot get away with not doing squats. So squats, 4 sets, 5 to 8 reps. You're keeping it low. You're going heavy and low reps, and your ass is low. Ass to grass, as low as you can get. 5 to 8 reps. Romanian deadlifts, barbell or dumbbell, 3 sets, 8 to 10. Walking lunges, 3 sets, 12 each leg. But if you want an extra challenge, scrap the walking lunges, do a Bulgarian split squat instead. That's my go-to. Then we're going to do the leg press. 3 sets, 10 to 15. You can go for power on the leg press. You can also go for hypertrophy on the leg press. I'm a big fan of both. Calf raises. I would never do calf raises, but Batman has good calves. You got to fill out that boot. And then an explosive finisher, box jumps. I think you could do bodyweight jump squats if you're not comfortable. A lot of people have that fear of like jumping up onto a box. I get it. If you want to do jump squats instead, I think some sort of like explosive finisher for legs is just a good way to burn them out at the very end. Day 4, shoulders and arms. You're prioritizing shoulders with 3 movements. I know that doesn't sound like many, but trust me, it's enough. You have your overhead press. There's 2 different ways you could do this. You could do seated dumbbell press, or you could do a standing barbell military press, or, I know I said 2 ways, there's 3 ways. I'm really liking the Z press, where you sit flat on your butt with the barbell and you have no back support. It's a really, really good way to isolate the shoulders, and you get absolutely, positively no cheating. I would say that's like if you take the dumbbell press, seated dumbbell shoulder press is like the beginner, the military press, standing barbell press is like the intermediate, the Z press, I would say, is the more advanced movement. That's just my opinion. And then you're going to go straight into arms. So barbell curls, skull crushers. I like that superset a lot, both done with the barbell or the easy bar. And then the finisher will be your hammer curls. I'm only doing 2 sets on this superset. So 2 sets of 12 on hammer curls and 2 sets of 12 on tricep pushdowns. This is a tricep pushdown. It's not what you think. It's a tricep pushdown. Very clearly a tricep pushdown. And then day 5, conditioning and core. So I think, yes, you can look the part, but if you really truly want to say you're training like Batman, I think you should have some sort of conditioning day in there. So we're going to do a CrossFit style circuit. We're going to do 4 rounds. You can set a timer. You can do an AMRAP or an EMOM if you know what those are. AMRAP is as many rounds as possible or as many reps as possible on a timer. An EMOM is every minute on the minute. So you're doing your, say you have 4 exercises, you would take 5 minutes, and on minute 1, you would do exercise A, and with whatever time between minute 1 and minute 2 you have, that's your rest time, and then you just keep going, repeating that cycle. That's probably very complicated to explain without a visual aid. I will try to throw a visual aid on the screen now. So the circuit consists of kettlebell swing, 15, 10 burpees, battle ropes for 30 seconds, mountain climbers for 30 seconds, rest for a full 60 seconds, repeat that 4 times. And then a core finisher with the ab wheel rollouts and your hanging leg raises. Once again, if you can do the toes to the bar, that's where you're really, really getting the most engagement, building the most strength. The ab wheel is one of my absolute favorite core movements, and the hanging leg raises or toes to bar. That's the 5-day version of this plan. The next is the 3-day version. I like both. I love the idea of going to the gym 5 days a week and perhaps just really, really focusing on one thing at a time. I like the organization aspect of that a lot. I don't necessarily love the time commitment to it because it is spending 5 hours a week, roughly hours, 45 minutes to an hour. All of those sessions that we just went through probably take 45 minutes to an hour, realistically. If you're doing your rest time and you're really pushing it, I think about an hour is a fair assessment. I like a 3-day plan because it's a little bit more dynamic in the sense that you're not just going to the gym to do chest presses, variations of chest exercises. You are doing, you're combining what is the 5-day plan into a more streamlined 3-day plan. So you're doing more things at the gym. You're working more muscle groups at a time. It's just a little bit more exciting, a little bit more dynamic. So the 3-day plan. Day 1 is upper body, chest and back focus. Day 2 is lower body and explosiveness. So again, kind of taking that day 5 principle from the 5-day plan, tagging it onto the lower body. And day 3, shoulders, arms, and a little bit of conditioning. This was a lot of information to take in. So if you want a PDF of these. I'm going to make a PDF of both of these plans. Just comment 3-day or comment 5-day, and I will send them to you. These plans are fairly advanced, but I think they're simple enough in principle for someone who's just starting out to follow. But if you are just starting out, I would strongly recommend working with a coach just to really nail down your form, make sure you're doing everything right. Other than that, I think you're good. I would recommend this to anyone that's trying to get in shape, whether you want to look like Batman or not. That's just what we're calling it for the sake of the video. This is a very standard weight training plan with the goal of a broad, big physique. Really strong, really powerful. The nutrition plan, pretty simple. I would say the biggest thing is just knowing your maintenance calorie needs, and then the amount of calorie that basically, if you don't know what maintenance calories are, maintenance is just the amount of calories that you need to eat every day so that you don't gain or lose any weight. That's your maintenance calorie. And then if you're trying to gain weight, bump those maintenance calories up by 300 to 500 calories a day. If you're trying to lose weight, I would go 200 to 500 below maintenance so that you're in a deficit. You're either in a surplus or you're in a deficit based on whether you want to gain or lose weight. 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is a good metric to follow. I would say prioritize your protein and your fiber. Let the rest of the day fill out with your carbs and your fats. That means your proteins, your meats, whatever, are going to be the priority, and then your leafy greens, your veggies, where you're going to get your fiber from. Those are going to be the 2 priorities. Let the rest of your calories come from your carbs, your fats, things like that. This is an extremely simplified explanation of nutrition, but I think for this video's purposes, it's just fine. Speaking of meal plan, let's talk about that humble pie I've been eating, huh? In one of my previous videos, and on Instagram, I very boldly said that I was done with the DC Multiverse line. I just threw that out there. Oops. What happened was, what I meant was, in all seriousness, I was just in too deep. I mentioned in the collecting versus hoarding video that I was choosing which figures I wanted to buy, and I was building my collection based off what I was seeing and what I was hearing, and influencers on social media that talk about action figures telling me what was a good figure. And I was feeling like I needed to be current, and I was feeling like I needed to buy to keep up with what was current and what was kind of in the pop culture zeitgeist or the toy influencer, ACBA community sphere. I was being totally influenced by that, and I got so burnt out. So what did I do? I sold a ton of them. I sold a lot of them. And now I'm sitting here like, oh, you know what? I really liked that line. I really liked the DC Multiverse line. Thankfully, I didn't get rid of all of them. I didn't get rid of all of my favorites. So I've taken a lot of them down off of eBay. They're no longer for sale. And I am really, really streamlining the collection. Basically covering all corners of the DC Multiverse, but very, very carefully and very, very specifically. I think that's a much more fulfilling way than just trying to buy to keep up for in some reason or another that makes you feel like you need to keep up. And as for the Mafex stuff, I really tried. And I don't think there's any argument that they're great figures. I really do. I think for the hardcore action figure photographers, I think for the people that really love articulation, they're really great figures. But at $100 a piece, I need to feel more when I open it. And I didn't feel anything. There wasn't that nostalgia. They kind of left me like cold. It's really hard to explain, but it was like too much. I don't know how to explain it, but I didn't like them. So McFarlane for now, and then we'll see what Mattel brings to the table next year. Man, let's do the pre-order spotlight. So for Star Wars Black Series, we have the Season 1 Mandalorian. He actually just shipped out from Target, so that's kind of cool. He might be at the door right now. For DC Multiverse, we have the aforementioned Hush 2 Batman, as well as the Superman versus Mongol, Superman in his recovery suit. And then for Marvel Legends, we talked about this last week, but we have the Secret Wars Wave 2 Daredevil, Absorbing Man, and Falcon. I'm excited for it all, man. I'm very passionate about this stuff. As Robo would say, I can't wait to have that sweet, sweet plastic in my hand. That sounds like an addict, but it's not really an addiction. They just go into the bin. I take their picture. They go into the bin. They sit on my desk. They bring me a lot of joy. Anyways, that's it for this week. I hope this has been helpful. Again, comment 3-day or 5-day if you want any of those PDFs. And until next time, bye.